welcome to this week's edition of Weird Stories from the Bible. Today we're back in the book of the Acts of the Apostles, and this time we're in chapter 5. And this story has to do with two early disciples by the name of Ananias and Sapphira. So let me read you a bit of this, and then we'll kind of dig into it and see why it's weird. Although when we read it, you will know why it's weird, because it's weird. So here we go. It says, a man named Ananias, with the consent of his wife, Sapphira, sold a piece of property. With his wife's knowledge, he kept back some of the proceeds and brought only part of it and laid it at the apostles' feet. See, back then, they were in the early church community, they sold all their belongings and brought them all into a community chest, and then they distributed them from there. But this couple sold a piece of property and only gave part of it to this community chest. So what they were doing there was kind of against their mutually agreed upon rules as a community. Okay, so then it goes on to say, Ananias, Peter asked, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and keep back part of the proceeds of the land? Well, it remained unsold. Did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, were not the proceeds at your disposal? How is it that you have contrived this deed in your heart? You did not lie to us, but to God. Now, when Ananias heard these words, he fell down and died. It didn't say that, yeah. And a great fear seized all who heard it. They didn't say if he died out of shame, or he died out of fear, or he died because God killed him. It doesn't say. The young men came and wrapped up his body and then carried him out and buried him. Okay, then the next part goes on. After an interval of about 3 hours, his wife came in, not knowing what had happened. Peter said to her, tell me whether you and your husband sold the land for such and such a price. And she said, yes, that was the price. Then Peter said to her, now it is that you have agreed together to put the Spirit of the Lord to the test. Look, the feet of those who have buried your husband are at the door, and they will carry you out too. Immediately, she fell down at his feet and died. When the young men came in, they found her dead. So they carried her out and buried her beside her husband. And great fear seized the whole church and all who heard of these things. Now, I don't have any great interpretation or commentary to share with you about this weird story from the Bible. I'm not sure if it really happened or if it was just the early church warning people that if they're going to agree on a way to live in community, that you better follow through with that way to live in a community and not lie about it. Earlier on, when Peter says to Ananias, let's see, well, it remained unsold. Did it not remain your own? And after it was sold, were not the proceeds at your disposal? So I think his point was, if you don't want to give us that money, that's fine. If you want to keep back some of that money, that's fine. Just don't lie to us about it. I kind of get the impression that that's what Peter was saying here. So, yeah, weird story from the Bible. Ananias and Sapphira. There you have it. Next week, we'll look at some other weirdness from the Bible, because let me tell you, there's a lot of it. See you next time. Bye-bye.